Hello, children. Today we'll be taking up the third chapter of your literature book, Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Children, I want to start the lesson in a different way today. I want to start with the famous quote of the eminent personality Nelson Mandela. Once he said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Yes, education, it has the power to enlighten the darkest corner of the world. The lesson would help you to show how Nelson Mandela overcame the challenges to succeed. It would help you to know about the great freedom fighter of South Africa. I want to share with you some lines of Nelson Mandela which I heard when I was a student like you. Children, I should say that it inspired me a lot, as the age you are in needs a lot of inspiration to mold you to be a perfect human. The lines are, "The time has come to accept in our hearts and minds that with freedom comes responsibility." Yes, children, we have to understand this, that we enjoy the freedom, but with the freedom comes lots of responsibility to serve this mankind. Nelson Mandela said these lines standing before Parliament in 1995 while giving his State of the Nation address as President. While ending, I want to say his lines that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So with this, I want to start the explanation of the chapter. I think you would enjoy learning about such a eminent personality. Long Walk to Freedom is the autobiography of Nelson Mandela. Now, who was the former South African president? This chapter is the extract from the Long Walk to Freedom book. What is the name of the book? Long Walk to Freedom. It includes a description of the inauguration ceremony from his speech and about his journey to being a freedom fighter. It says about the other countries' people who fought for their freedom. In South Africa, a brutal practice named apartheid. The apartheid word is not new to you because you have learned it in your history and your civics books. I think I'm sure about it. Was very popular in those days. It referred to the discrimination. What is apartheid? It referred to the discrimination between people on the basis of their race and color. It was one of the most brutal societies in which the dark-skinned people, children, were deprived of their basic rights. This lesson gives us an overview of the struggles of Mandela from making the society with no discrimination on the basis of their color, caste, race, age, or gender. He wanted to say that it's humanity which should prevail on earth. Now we will learn about the author. Long Walk to Freedom is an autobiography written by the South African President Nelson Mandela and the first published in. Now this autobiography was first published in 1994 by Little Brown and Company. Please learn this. This is important. The last chapters of the book describe his political ascension and his belief that the struggle still continued against the apartheid in South Africa. Now, children, what are the objectives of this chapter? It would help you to know about a great freedom fighter of South Africa. How the mental grit and determination can change the course of life of a determined youth. It teaches you all that if there is a will, sure there is a way. It teaches you there is nothing that can defeat you if you desire. And last, it teaches you about the sacrifices of the great freedom fighters of South Africa. You can see the picture of Nelson Mandela. What is the moral we should learn? What is the message of this chapter? The message that can be inferred from the long walk to freedom is any person can reach heights irrespective of their race. So people should not be discriminated. Now, let us start with the summary. A Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela is all about the struggle of freedom of South Africa, children. On May 10th, 1994, the date is important. Mark it. May 10th, 1994, Nelson Mandela has taken the vow as the first black president of South Africa. The date is important. I have asked you to learn it. Why? Because it may come in the 1-mark question or in MCQ question. Alright? So this important things. First black president on May 10th, 1994. Please do the occasion, the vow as the first black president. These things you have to be very minute while you are going through the chapter. And therefore it was becoming a newborn democratic country. Nelson Mandela took the oath as the first black president. Many dignitaries from different countries had come to be a part of the most significant day. In his speech, Mandela thanked all those dignitaries who were the part of the oath-taking ceremony. Mandela assured his countrymen that his country would never ever experience the same suppression of one another. Democracy had been established in South Africa as well as a result. A government of no discrimination was established. Now we come to the second part of the summary. The people of South Africa sang 2 national anthems. This is again important, 2 national anthems as a symbol of that day. Mandela recalled that the reason for this movement was that black-skinned people were exploited by the white people. Now all these black and white people, black people getting exploited by the white people, we have read all about these in our history books, isn't it? He said that this type of suppression of people of South Africa is the origin of many stars. People must learn to hate first, because if they hate, then they can be taught to love, as love comes from the opposite circumstance. He also says, as we say children, that we should always love dark, because darkness can only make you understand that how important and beautiful is light. In the same way, he also says that a brave man is not that who does not feel afraid but who conquers it. Who conquers it. In life, a man has two major obligations. First, towards his family, to his parents, to his wife, and to his children. And second, on the other hand, obligation towards his country, people, and the community. It's very important, children. Very important that we should learn to take up the responsibility. Everyone fulfills his duty as per his inclination and interest. But it was very tough to fulfill in a country like South Africa. When Mandela became adult, then he understood that his freedom was only an illusion. Illusion means which is not true. In fact, he was the slave of exploitation. He also understood that not only he was a slave, but his other family members were also. Children, I'll be sharing a documentary, short documentary with my class today. Whenever you get the time, please go through the documentary. I'm sure you would enjoy it. You would see that he has mentioned all these lines in his documentary. According to him, freedom is also mandatory for them who were suppressing others in the past. They also have the right to have it because snatcher of others' freedom is a prisoner of the same. Very beautiful line. Thus, the oppressor is as much a prisoner as the oppressed. The oppressor too is not free. It's very important things, children. We need to learn all this. Conclusion of Nelson Mandela. Now we'll come to the concludatory part. The long walk to freedom. The brave man is not the one who does not feel afraid, but he is the one who conquered the fear. Mandela said that every man has his duties towards his country and community too. Now, children, they are the word meanings. As I always tell, that the word meanings are very important part of a chapter because you get acquainted with the new words. And you have to use these new words in your write-ups, in your daily usages. Emancipation means the fact or process of being set free from regal. Now these words, liberate, you need it many a times while in your write-up. Free, liberate is free. Release from any bandage, discrimination, being treated differently or unfavorably. This term is not new to you. Now, deprivation, the damaging of lack of material benefit considered to be basic necessity in a society. Oppression, prolonged cruel. Okay, reign, rule. Then should I go through each and every word meaning? But okay, the important one I'll be talking, the dawned. Now this word dawn means starting of a new day, isn't it? And you can use this term dawned in many of your write-ups. The new era dawned. Okay, this is a very, very beautiful word. You can use it in your own way. Dawned means a new day, a new sunrise, and you can use it in many ways. It's very beautiful. Pleasantly. Besieged means surrounded by. Dignitaries, sandstone. Now amphitheater, an open air theater. Open air theater is called amphitheater. Supremacy, Yes, you all know it's, but try to use all these words. Awe means amazed. I was awestruck. We say this, na? I was awestruck means I was amazed. Now, spectacular also we know it. Array, an impressive display. Precision, bedecked, unmindful. Chevron, a pattern in the shape of V. Alright. Now, this another word, apartheid. Though this word is not new to you, you have learned it in your history classes. A policy or system of segregation on the ground of race. Apartheid. Now, coming to the end of the chapter, I'll just sum up, children. You may close your eyes and you may listen. What are the key points? Or you may go through the video. Nelson Mandela swears in as the first black president of South Africa on 10th May 1994. Important date. The swearing in ceremony took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater in Pretoria. Important. He addressed the rainbow gathering. Very beautiful words I've used for you. Rainbow gathering. Try to learn these expressions. I've used this intentionally. Rainbow gathering with a jest telling that never ever and never again should it be that beautiful land would experience the oppression of one by another. He wished that freedom in Africa should reign. Army officials who could have caught and put him in jail before were saluting him to pay respect to the newly born democracy. The two national anthems were sung at the time of his swearing in ceremony. He recalls back the history and pays homage to the national martyrs who sacrificed their lives for the sake of their motherland. He tells that the martyrs were the men of extraordinary courage and wisdom and generosity. The country of South Africa is rich in minerals and gems, but the greatest wealth of country is its people. He tells no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. If people learn to hate, they can be taught to love too. He talks that man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never exhausted. Now, coming to the last points, key points which you have to remember. He talks about the twin obligations towards his family and obligations towards his nation. Now this I want you people also to learn. Yes, children. While discharging his duties, he found he was not free. Hence he joined African National Congress, fought for the freedom of his country. He knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. The oppressor and the oppressed are alike, are robbed of their humanity. That's it, children. So with this we end this beautiful chapter, this autobiography. I would ask you to go through the documentary which I've shared with you. Anytime you can do it. Go through the chapter properly. Learn the new words. try to use it in a correct place while you are writing your write-ups. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.